We really want you to come to a place where you really get it, that you've got a mix of vibration going on all the time, and that what comes back to you is always a perfect match to what you're outputting, whether you know it or not. And so if you could accept that, and you can, but you probably won't right away. If you can accept that, then every experience you have is information giving to you, because it lets you know exactly what you're doing vibrationally. It lets you know exactly what you're outputting, so that if you mean to, if you want to, you could output differently. Not right here, right now. This is what Esther knew about her friend. She could not be in the middle of that family situation and change suddenly what she was outputting, because you have a vibrational momentum that's going on. Your vibrational momentum, a better way of saying in a very succinct form to you what your vibrational momentum is, it's your beliefs. Because a belief is just a thought that you continue to think. And it's so easy to pick up along your physical trail hindering beliefs, because somehow or other you got focused on it, and you focused upon it long enough that it began coming back to you, and as you observed it, it looked true. And so you say to yourself, well, I believed that, and then it was, and now I really believe it, and so it keeps being. And so it's easy for me to believe these things. Esther said to us in the beginning of coming to understand what we were talking to her about, law of attraction and her own point of attraction. She said, but Abraham, it's true. It's true. Sort of defiantly and defensively. It's true. Why wouldn't I focus upon this truth? And we very tenderfootedly explained to Esther over time that just because something is true does not mean it deserves your attention. Because as you continue to give it your attention, you continue to practice the vibration of it. And as you continue to practice the vibration of it, then it becomes a sort of substantial part of your vibrational mix. And then you start taking it to all your parties. Everywhere you go, you take those beliefs with you, and they reflect back to you until you concoct a view of your life, of life around you, of civilization in general. You begin to perceive through the lens of your attraction, not realizing that you have control over your attraction, over everything that comes to you. You are the creator of your own experience. You create your own reality. You offer a vibration, but sometimes, a lot of the time, you offer your vibrational output by default. It's just something that you do. You've observed others doing it, and so you do it. And so this conversation that we want to have with you here today, amongst all the things that you specifically want to talk about, we want to help you to realize that you've got a vibrational mix going on. You have a vibrational point of attraction. Now, why is it a mix? Why are we continually saying you've got this mix of vibration? Well, it's because you are more than you see here in this physical body. Before you came into this physical body, you were source energy. And that source energy was pure, positive, sweet love vibration. No resistance that could be discernible from your physical point of view at all. So this non-physical energy, a part of it came forth into this physical body. Whoosh, or splat. Here you are in your physical body. And as you move along your physical trail, you're doing exactly what you intended to as you came forth. You're observing, and you are coming to conclusions about your personal preferences, because you are a leading edge consciousness in a leading edge environment, leading all that is non-physical forward into the new with you. This is where it is happening, out here in this manifested world. Thoughts are turning to things purposefully. That's why you're here in your physical body. But your inner being, sometimes you call it your soul, your source, your God source, that inner part of you remains non-physically focused, meaning stays in that pure positive perspective of whatever you are about. And your inner being does not stay in that pure positive perspective because it is ignoring the mess you've gotten yourself into down here in this physical form. Your inner being is able to observe what you are about from your inner being's position of knowing the all is wellness and the perfection of this leading edge, contrasting, coming to new decisions and conclusions about what you want, and taking thought beyond that which it has been before, perspective that is you. Your inner being is aware of you, but holding that knowing of your value, of your blessedness. Your inner being never ceases to know your value and to appreciate and love you. So when you ask, it is given. But the thing for you is now you must find a way, and it usually takes a little time, of lining up with what you've asked for, because after all, you may very well, in fact, you usually are much clearer about what you don't want than about what you do want, because what you don't want is a longer practiced vibration. So here you are. You have a sort of tug of war going on within you because you knew what you didn't want and you asked for what you did want, but you're more devoted to what you don't want because you're usually defending and justifying and explaining, rationalizing, explaining why things have gone wrong. So as you stand in that vibration while your inner being is running with what you do want, that's when there is a tug of war, and that's why you feel negative emotion. Every emotion you feel is about this gap or crevasse between your current focus and the current focus of your inner being. And when you understand that your inner being is with you always, is awake within you, is fully integrated, is aware of what you've got going on, and is devoted to your choice, not your sloppy habit, your choice, what you really want, not your sloppy thinking, not your defensiveness, not your justification, but knowing what life has produced for you. You have evolved. You have become more because of this experience that you just lived, and your inner being stands there holding that new set point that you have discovered for all of us. But we love you so much. You are so stubborn. And often you stand in that defensive place and continue to beat the drum of why you need more money, you want more money, you need more money, you want more money, when you've asked for more and more is lined up for you. And so we wanted so much for you to come to understand that while you are creating your own reality, that you have created a vibrational reality that is the first stage of the reality that will one day, and not so far from now, be manifested in your experience, where you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. But in the beginning, it's a vibrational ether. It's a vibrational state of being. It's a vibrational existence where your inner being stands and tends and holds, that law of attraction is responding to. So all of the cooperative components of your newfound desire are already being gathered. The question that this seminar wants to ask of you, so that you may find the answer moment by moment, is, since the cooperative components are all being gathered, are you one of the cooperative components that's being gathered to your own creation? Or are you holding out stubbornly over here in defensiveness? Are you more a vibrational match to not having enough money? Or are you more of a vibrational match to the abundance that you want? Are you more of a vibrational match to who you really are? Or are you more of a vibrational match to what has caused you to become more? What are you a vibrational match to? And the way for you to know, a way for you to feel who you are, a way for you to understand who you are, is by recognizing how you are feeling. Because the better you are feeling, if you're joyful, if you are passionate, if you are feeling exhilaration, then you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on to the source energy that is really you. Then you are in this moment a vibrational match to the furthest place that you have come to. Then you are in harmony with your inner being. Then your valve is wide open. Then you are a vibrational match to all that is well. And you are in what we are now calling the receptive mode. The receptive mode, the receptive mode. The mode of being ready to receive the vibration that is coming from that broader, wiser part of you. The receptive mode that understands who you really are. The receptive mode who is offering to you a steady, powerful vibration, but you've got to get on the wavelength of it. You must be a vibrational match to it, or you won't hear it. You cannot be a vibrational match to the absence of what you want and receive what you want. It just can't happen. You've got to be a vibrational match to what you want. And so we've been talking for a long time. At first we called this gathering the science of deliberate creation. You got a little heady about that, though. You worried about your creating. You worried about your thoughts, since we explained to you that you get what you think about. And so you would think a thought or speak a word, and then you'd try to suck it back before law of attraction took hold of it and brought you something you didn't want. But now we're explaining to you that it is really the art of allowing. It is the art of receiving. It is the art of practicing the vibration of what you want. But you can't always be in the place of being a vibrational match to what you want, because sometimes life is coming at you and you are observing because it is the step one part of your equation. How are you or any of us going to evolve if you don't have contrast from which to choose? So, what do you want to talk about?
I've been manifesting purchasing a thoroughbred racehorse. And 2 days later, the source gave me the name of the horse.
Yes.
And most of my manifestations, about 90% of them come true. But when it does come, there is a steady flow, and then it starts to trickle, and a steady flow and trickle.
Well, that's logical, because momentum will play out. See it as a sort of pipeline where you put all of this desire into your vortex, and now you're receiving it. And there are different things that are in your vortex that are at different degrees of readiness to manifest. And so here's a really good analogy. Once something manifests, it's like gum that you've chewed all the flavor out of.
Yes.
It's time to go get another stick of gum. And so that's a normal thing. Esther sat on an airplane last week next to a man, and they were visiting about this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. And he talked about where he had gone to school some years before, and Esther commented that she had a friend who's a professor at that school who teaches about and helps children with autism. And he was startled for a moment, and he said, I have 4 grown children, and my second son has autism. And he described somewhat what his experience with this son is, and he said, I took him to the Kentucky Derby 3 years in a row, and in the 3 years he chose the winning horse because he liked the name. And Esther said, well, I'm sure that's the excuse he used for why he chose it. And then Esther talked to him just a little bit. They didn't talk about Esther's work. She didn't want to freak him out. Esther talked about the difference between receiving a thought and thinking a thought, and how she is certain that this young man is better at receiving thoughts than most people, and not as good at thinking thoughts as most people. And this man sort of sat back as far away from Esther as he could to get a good look at her as he was contemplating what she had said, because that's the experience that he's been having. In other words, sometimes you just get in the receptive mode, and you don't have to have autism to be more prone to receiving thought than to thinking thought, but sometimes you need to stop thinking thoughts. You need to stop thinking so hard. No longer try so hard. Don't make so much effort. Don't try to work it out or figure it out. Just trust that it is figured out and worked out, and that you are going to be the receiver of as much as you're ready to receive. Isn't that a nice way of looking at it?
Yes.
Yes.
And the other thing I've noticed that you always talk about contrast. And wherever there is contrast, I have the ability of turning a contrast into my favor, where I profit from it and come out smelling like roses.
There are always those who thrive in the worst of times, and there are always those who suffer in the best of times. It's all about your mindset, isn't it? Yeah, really good.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.